We're now joined by Eric Davidson, the AGU President. So Eric, AGU's official meeting kicked off a few short hours ago. There's 20,000 odd people in the city of New Orleans, and it's going to be an amazing week for science. Is there something that you in particular are excited about this week?
Oh, there's so many exciting things happening here. I'm probably not going to get them all, but more importantly in terms of innovations for our members in the meeting format, we have electronic posters, what we call lightning sessions in our oral sessions, so people give brief versions of their talks, and then you can go over to a poster and spend more time with a person going through those talks. So a lot of innovation in format. We have organized our posters in what we're calling neighborhoods, which means that different topics that are more closer together are organized together instead of putting everything out alphabetically. We have what we call pods, which are places that people can reserve and spontaneously meet at a place to continue a conversation. So just ways to make this really big meeting, as you said, of some over 21,000 people, feel a whole lot smaller so that people can have a really good experience here.
As we know, AGU is a leader in earth and space sciences, but it's also leading on a number of professional issues as well. I just wonder if you could tell us about a couple of the things that AGU are doing in that field.
We're investigating, strategizing over how we can further develop the talent pool in earth and space science, understand what some of the barriers are for more diversity and inclusivity. So we have a task force working on that. And literally, what AGU will look like, what will be in our DNA in the next decade or two, depends on the kinds of groundwork that we lay now in terms of figuring out strategies to be more inclusive and diverse in who's entering the talent pool, and then also helping people along all the way through their careers and helping them stay on track and getting the resources, the professional resources they need to thrive as earth and space scientists.
One of the most exciting things that AGU's got coming up in the next year is the centennial, the 100 years anniversary of the American Geophysical Union. But there's a number of things that AGU are also on the very cusp of science and technology. Is there one thing that you can, or maybe two things that you can pick out that AGU are really looking at the moment?
We are very much engaged in what we call sharing science, which has many components to it. One of them is enabling scientists to learn skills to communicate beyond their scientific audiences. So for instance, we have the StoryCorps audio studio here. There's a lot of narratives that we need to figure out how to express to interest people. A lot of narratives to explain our science to non-scientists, including to policymakers. And so we're doing all we can to enable our members who have that interest to learn to tell stories.
So Eric, this is the final year of your AGU presidency, and I know there's a lot that you've done. Is there something in particular, maybe one thing that you're particularly proud of that you've achieved over this year?
Well, one of the things that we instituted in this last year is that we realized we had to revise our ethics policy because it was over a decade old. And we went through a very methodical process of studying our ethics policy, studying changes in society, studying what other scientific societies do. And we came up with a new ethics policy that I think is really cutting edge in terms of scientific integrity, in terms of advancing inclusivity, opposing bullying and harassment, including sexual harassment. So we have now redefined scientific misconduct to include bullying, discrimination, and harassment. And so now we're in a position where we are guided by a well thought out policy. And of course we have challenges ahead of us and that we're going to have to implement that policy, and we're going to have to turn that from an aspirational policy to a way to make a cultural change in the way science is done all across the country and all around the world.
Eric, thanks so much for your time. That was Eric Davidson, the AGU President, talking to us here at AGU Today.